मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणं रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जगत विश्व प्रकाश। Okay, so we'll begin the reading. We'll start reading. Mataji, you can share the screen, and first we'll complete the 5 verses, reading all these verses, and then there are some points which we'll discuss.
Anita Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी, हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी। हे मरीचयादयो विप्रायस्तु स्वायंभुव मनुः ते वै ब्रह्मणा आदेशात् कथं एतद् अभावयन्।
Divya Mataji, translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Mataji, is it Divya Gopu or other Mataji? So sorry.
Oh, it is Divya Desai Mataji.
Oh, okay. I'm
Divya
sorry.
Gopu Mataji, I'll call out your name later. Yeah?
Oh, so sure, Mataji.
Please, yeah, Mataji. Divya Desai.
Hare Krishna. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vidura inquired, how did the Prajapatis, such progenitors of living entities as Marichi and Swayambhu, Manuj create according to the instruction of Brahma, and how did they evolve this manifested universe? Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Next verse.
Shilpa Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Pranam. Sadvitiya kimasrijana swatantra utakarmasu aho svit sanghata sarva idam swam samakalpayan. Hare Krishna.
Vasudha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Translation Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Did they evolve the creation in conjunction with their respective wives? Did they remain independent in their action, or did they all jointly produce it? Thank you, Prabhuji.
Prashanti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Maitreya Uvacha Devaina Durvitakirna Parena Nimishena Cha Jatakshobhat Bhagavato Mahan Asida Gunatrayat. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Now Divya Gopu Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Pranams. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Maitreya said, when the equilibrium of the combination of the three modes of nature was agitated by the unseen activity of the living entity, by Mahavishnu, and by the force of time, the total material elements were produced. Hare Krishna.
Vrishabhanu Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Only word, Mataji?
Verse, Mataji.
Okay.
Yeah.
Word. So please, Raja Pradanan Mahata Strilingo दैवच उदितात् जात संसर्ज भूतादि वीर्य दादिनी पच्चशः.
Meenakshi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As impelled by the destiny of the jiva, the false ego, which is of the three kinds, evolved from the Mahat Tattva, in which the element of Rajas predominates. From the ego, in turn, evolved many groups of 5 principles. Thank you very much.
Sudha Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी वंदन हरे कृष्ण तानि चैकाकशं षष्टुम् अस्मात्तानि भौतिकं संहत्य दैवयोगेन हैमं मन्दम् अवासृजन्. थैंक यू प्रभुजी. हरे कृष्ण.
Janki Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranam. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Pranam. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Separately unable to produce the material universe, they combined with the help of the energy of the can you scroll a little right side, Mataji? Help of energy of the Supreme Lord and were able to produce a shining egg. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So, Shrimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, is actually very important. It is very important. So there is very important discussion between Vidura and Maitreya Muni. And then in these connection, there are some incidents or some pastimes are being shared. So just now this discussion of Lord Varahadev, that has been completed. And Vidura is very surprisingly asking that how the world has been created, how this universe has been created, which is in fact very interesting question for everyone, because how this universe came about. There are many theories. There are many theories which are generally popular in our mankind. Like there is science which is talking about a kind of theory that how the universe came about. Then different people they have their own theories by watching some uh, TV serials and all. So like generally they give a different kind of perspective how the universe came about. But then when we read these scriptures, especially Shrimad Bhagavatam, and here this discussion is going to lead towards Sankhya Yoga, very important subject, where Lord Kapila will instruct his mother Devahuti. So this is 3rd canto, 20th chapter. So in 25th, 26th, 27th chapter, so these all things are going to come, especially 26th chapter. So a background is getting built up that how universe has come about. The question which is Vidura is asking to Maitreya, and now Maitreya Muni will recite this incident, this pastime of Lord Kapila, because he will first give the instruction that how the world came about, how the universe came about, but then he will specific talk about Lord Kapila, who is the Acharya of this special yoga, Sankhya Yoga. The Sankhya Yoga, which talks about the different elements of this material nature. So how this material nature came about, how these all elements they got developed. So in short, here things are being discussed. So Vidura is asking that how these Prajapatis have created after the getting instruction from Brahma. So the question is actually what he wanted to ask the question. This is in the 11th verse. He is asking that because they were so much powerful personalities, so did they created the universe independently, or do they have to evolve this creation, or did they evolve this creation in conjunction with their wives? how this universe came about. This is very important for them. How they all this progeny started, or did they jointly produce it? How things happen. So Maitreya is not answering to this question directly. First, he is giving answer to how the universe came about. How, in fact, this Prajapatis or Brahma, Lord Brahma, or all even the first living entity, Lord Brahma is considered as the first living entity. So how they came about, and in fact, not only that, them, uh, Maitreya Muni is giving answer to how the elements have come about. So then the answer is when the equilibrium of the combination of the three modes of nature was agitated by the unseen activity of the living entity, by Mahavishnu, and by the force of time, the total material elements were produced. Now these are little technical things, so we will understand in short, because these things will be elaborately discussed, as I said, in 26th chapter. How material nature came about. So this whole material nature, when these all elements were there, so in sum total, this is called as Mahatattva. When Mahatattva is there, so see, we have to understand in a simple way. Radheshanto gives very nice example. Uh, he compares this material nature with a girl. There is a girl who is 7-8 years old. So this 7-8 year old girl can become mother after some time. She has the possibility, she has the potential to become mother. But at the age of 7 or 8, or till the time of his maturity, she has not yet developed that thing. So that stage of material nature is called in a kind of that is the first stage of this material nature, where it is not yet evolved. The elements have not yet been created inside. The second stage is when the girl becomes mature and when she is now ready to conceive the child. So that stage is called Mahatattva, where all the elements are already there inside this material nature. And now this Mahatattva can act as, now in further, this can create the living entities or whatever things slowly now what we see now it is like this material nature is developed. The third stage for the girl is when she gets married and then husband is there. So then when they procreate, so that time then this girl she conceives the child actual time, and then she gives birth to a child. This is the third stage. The third stage of material nature, that is called Prakriti, where now we say that Prakriti here. Or in this Prakriti, what happens? That when Lord Vishnu, he glances towards this Mahatattva, so then the Mahatattva the elements gets agitated. So when this agitation happens, so with this agitation, what happens? That the glance of Lord Vishnu is actually Lord Shiva, a Shambhu, you can say. Lord Vishnu directly, he doesn't involve with the material nature. Lord Vishnu directly, he will not touch the material nature, or he will have any direct relation with the material nature. The glance of Lord Vishnu actually touches.
तो वैसे भी नहीं गिरता, वो बॉयल होता रहेगा.
So that glance is actually Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva has this relationship with with Goddess Parvati or Goddess Durga, which the material nature is actually known as. So then living entities gets produced. And how the living entities get produced? With the glance of Lord Vishnu, this all the entities, the living entities, transfer Mahavishnu to inside this material nature. So the living entities are actually there in the body of Mahavishnu. They are lying inside, they are there inside the Mahavishnu's body. Because after this, all whatever annihilation happens, pralaya, so whatever annihilation happens, so after that, all the living entities get back to the body of Mahavishnu. And from Mahavishnu's body, through the glance of Lord Vishnu, these living entities go inside the material nature. And then these bija, they are in the form of seed. Then they come about like these different forms of the body. So that is a basic thing, that how living entities get inside this universe. There are different universes. So now the question comes that because this Mahatattva, when it was there, not in non-agitated form, so Lord Vishnu first personally goes inside that material nature, inside, in the form of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And when Vishnu enters this material nature, then only this material nature can act. Otherwise, before that, it is not like without Vishnu, without the support of Vishnu, without the support of Lord, there is no possibility of life. So first Lord comes inside and then he glances, and so that like the living entity which goes inside the material natures, that will get some the energy they will get, and in that way they will act now upon by themselves. This is like little bit complicated thing how things are happening. We'll go for purport in the 12th verse. So Prabhupada is making it clear these all things. Although these things are not yet discussed, that will be getting discussed in 26th chapter, but because here some points are there. The cause of material creation is described here very lucidly. The first cause is Daiva, or the destiny of the conditioned soul. The destiny of conditioned soul is the actually cause of material creation. If there are no soul which are supposed to go or supposed to enter inside the material nature, so there will be no material creation at all. Because this living entity, they have uh, their destiny, or they have acted in such a way that now Lord has to create a material world, and he puts us inside that so that we can fulfill our desires. So that's why this material creation is this is created. The material creation exists for the conditioned soul who wanted to become a false lord for sense enjoyment. Actually, we all wanted to enjoy. This is 12th verse I'm reading. Yeah. The conditioned soul, he wanted to become a false lord. He wanted to become controller. He wanted to become enjoyer. And because of that, he wanted a separate setting. He wanted a separate setup other than Golok Vrindavan or living with the Lord. So he wanted a separate setup where he can become Lord. So then Lord Krishna, being very merciful upon the living entities, he created a material world or material nature where we can supposedly fulfill our desire, but it is not actually it's happening, because without pleasing Krishna, if we try to enjoy, so then that is another misery. So Lord Krishna wants us that please understand that what you want is not actually, that is not possible. You want happiness without me, so that is not possible. You have to be first you have to serve me. The process is you have to serve your master, and then your master will be pleased. The servant will be pleased. So that is not what we want, that we want to become master, which is not our actual position. Our position is Jivera Swarupa hai, Krishnera Nityadas. So we are the servant of Krishna. Okay, then the material creation. One cannot trace out the history of when the conditioned soul first desired to lord it over material nature. But in Vedic literature, we always find that the material creation is meant for the sense enjoyment of the conditioned soul. So when we came to this material world, that is very difficult to say because nobody can trace it. But the creation of this material world has happened so that we can fulfill this desire to enjoy our senses. There is a nice verse which says that the sum and substance of the conditioned soul's sense enjoyment is that as soon as he forgets his primary duty to render service to the Lord, he creates an atmosphere of sense enjoyment which is called Maya. That is the cause of material creation. Actually, the word Maya means it's illusion. In Sanskrit, it is said, Niyate Anaya iti Maya. That which is not is called Maya. So, what is not? So, there is no happiness, there is no enjoyment in this material world. But we came here to search that happiness. That is Maya. And that is the cause of this material creation. The illusion, the bewilderment of the living entity. That is the cause of material creation. Another word used here is durvitarkena. No one can argue about when and how the conditioned soul became desirous of sense enjoyment, but the cause is there. Yeah, so somebody can ask, Prabhuji, if we are in Golok Vrindavan, we are living with Krishna, so how we became, how we desired for sense enjoyment. So here Prabhupada says that no one can argue about when and how, when it happened and how it happened. Nobody can argue, but the cause is there. The cause is this, that we try to enjoy. That's why we came to this material world. So in this connection, Srila Prabhupada says that suppose you are drowning in a well, and then somebody is throwing the rope, that please hold this rope, and then you will come out of the well. So then if you argue that first tell me that who threw me, who has thrown me in the well, then only I'll come up. So that is a foolish argument, that first we have to save ourselves and then we can inquire that who has thrown me inside the well. So how I came about, how I came to this material world, that's a wrong question to ask. First of all, we have to get back to our original nature. First of all, we have to come out of this material nature. We should think for this, that how I should get back, not like how I came about. So Srila Prabhupada says that you have to think for the solution. Then after reaching there, you ask to Krishna that how it happened that I went to the material nature, material world. Material nature is an atmosphere meant only for the sense enjoyment of the conditioned soul, and it is created by the personality of Godhead. It is mentioned here that in the beginning of the creation, the material nature or Prakriti is agitated by personality of Godhead Vishnu. See, the Vishnu is agitating Prakriti. There are three Vishnus mentioned. One is Mahavishnu, another is Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and the third is Kshirodakshay Vishnu. The first canto of Shrimad Bhagavatam discusses all these three Vishnus, and here also it is confirmed that Vishnu is the cause of creation. This Mahavishnu is the cause of agitation for this Prakriti. So Vishnu is the cause for everything. From Bhagavad Gita also we learn that Prakriti begins to work and is still working under Krishna's or Vishnu's glance of superintendence. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead is unchangeable. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Maya Dhakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharachara, Itu Nanana Kamte Jagat Viparivartate. Maya Dhakshena, under my supervision, the whole material nature is functioning. So when Lord says that under my supervision, that means under his glance, under his divine glance, this whole material nature is working. So that is what the glance of Lord Vishnu is. And that glance is actually, we say that glance is actually Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva is the husband of Mother Durga or Parvati. So in other words, when we say that Mother Parvati is the mother of all the living entities in this world, so then Lord Shiva is the father of all the living entities. So Jagat Janni we say, no? Jagat Janni Ma Parvati or Ma Durga. So Lord Shiva is the father. But anyway, the Supreme Father is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should not mistakenly think that because the creation emanates from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he has therefore transformed into this material cosmic manifestation. So, since Lord Vishnu is the cause of material nature, so we should not think that he is also participating in this material world. No, he is indirectly participating. He is glancing. So, through Lord Shiva, he is participating in this material universe formation. He exists in his personal form always, but the cosmic manifestation taken place by his inconceivable potency. The workings of that energy are difficult to comprehend, but it is understood from Vedic literature that the conditioned soul creates his own destiny and is offered a particular body by the laws of nature under the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who always accompanies him as Paramatma. So the living entity, when he desires for any kind of thing, so because Lord is present with him as Paramatma, so he knows that what this living entity wants. So according to the desire of living entity, Lord provides such kind of arrangement. He provides such kind of body, such kind of atmosphere to the living entity. And so we move on to different kind of body, types of body. So this is what this material nature, how it functions. Next verse talks about the translation for 13. As impelled by the destiny of the jiva, the false ego, which is of three kinds, evolved from the Mahatattva, in which the elements of rajas predominate. From the ego, in turn, evolved many groups of five principles. Yeah. So 13th verse you can see, I will be explaining in that one. From Mahatattva, when these all elements, how things started now. So the first element which has been created, that is false ego. Because the material nature is, it can work only if there is false ego. The living entity comes to this material world thinking that I am the enjoyer. So that thinking that I am enjoyer, that is called false ego. The real ego is I am servant of Krishna, but the false ego is I am master. I am the enjoyer, I am the controller, and that brings us to this material world. So the first element of this material nature is false ego. From false ego, there are this the false ego when it involves with three modes of material nature, that is goodness, passion, and ignorance. Because Satogun, Tamogun, and Satogun, Rajogun, and Tamogun, these three are the modes of material nature. So when the false ego, the first element, which when it interacts with these three modes, so then there are some different elements, more elements get created. When the false ego, when it comes in contact with mode of goodness, so the mind is created. When the mode of when the false ego, when it comes in contact with the mode of passion, rajagun, so then intelligence is created. And when the false ego, then it comes in contact with the intelligence and the these five our senses. So these five senses, they are created. And when false ego interacts with the tamogun or mode of ignorance, so then the five elements which we say earth, water, air, fire, ether. So these all gets created. So these are slowly how the things are getting developed, how elements are coming. So in purport, Srila Prabhupada says the primordial matter or prakriti, material nature, consisting of three modes, generates four groups of five. The first group is called elementary and consists of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. The second group of five is called tanmatra, referring to the subtle elements, sense objects, sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. The third group is the five senses, sense organs of acquiring knowledge, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. The fourth group is the five working senses, speech, hands, feet, anus, and genitals. Some say that there are five groups of five. One group is the sense object, one is five elements, one is five sense organs of acquiring knowledge, another is sense of working, and the fifth group is the five deities who control these divisions. Okay, so Prabhupada is saying that there are four groups of five. There are four groups of five elements, five things are there in four groups. So these are 20 elements, how these are getting created. So consisting of three modes, we just now discussed that how good when the false ego comes in contact with the goodness, mind is created. When it comes in contact with the passion, intelligence is created, and then five senses also. And when with the mode of ignorance, when the false ego is connected, or when it comes in contact with that, so then these five elementary elements like earth, water, air, fire, ether, so these get created. So this is how the evolution is taking place. And from these five pancha tattva, earth, water, air, fire, ether, then the tanmatra is also created in this mode of ignorance only. And with the mode of passion, there are these five gyanendriya, five karmendriya, these all things have been created. So in total, what we saw there are four groups of five gyanendriya, five karmendriya, five tanmatra, and five panch mahabhut. These are 20. Then we say mind, intelligence, false ego. These are 23. Then comes 24th Mahatattva. Then comes the time, and then comes the Supreme Lord, Paramatma. So these are 26 elements of this material nature. When Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu glances towards this material nature, as soon as he glances, so the time starts. Before that, there is no time. So there is no conception of time. There is no conception of time beyond this material nature. As soon as Lord Vishnu, he glances towards the material nature, so the agitation begins. Agitation begins means now the creation starts. And that same point, now time starts. That's why here we see there is time. We read the tenses, past tense, present tense, future tense. But in spiritual world or beyond this material nature, there is no time conception. So there is no past, there is no future, there is always present. Nitya Vartaman. Yeah, so this was the topic we were seeing. So separately unable to produce the material universe, they combined with the help of energy of the Supreme Lord and were able to produce a shining egg. So in this material nature, so these all the Prajapatis or not Prajapatis, these the false ego in contact with three modes and Mahatattva. So these the five different groups of five things, like four groups of five. They all create a shining egg. The false ego, then these all 20 elements what we discussed, mind, intelligence. So they create a shining egg. That shining egg is what? That is universe. That is shining egg. So because it is egg, so it is in Hindi or in Sanskrit, it is called and. And then because it is shining egg, the first element, first living being is Brahma, or it is in another sense because it has come out of the Brahma. That is, it is called Brahmand, the universe. So this 14 verse is talking till that. And further, now how inside the universe, how Garbhodakshay Vishnu has entered in all these universes, and now he will start creating. So how Lord Brahma comes, how from Brahma the Prajapatis come, how from Prajapatis different other beings will come, so that will come in next upcoming verses. Hare Krishna. Yeah, things were little complicated. If I could not explain anything, please let me know. The question.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Prabhu. No, I think you have explained it in a very easy way, Prabhu. But we have some questions. So can we take the questions, Prabhu, now?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, Shilpa Mataji.
I think you have to unmute them.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. I was not able to mute myself. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, when you said that Lord Shiva and Parvati creates the world, I didn't understand. Could you please explain that again?
Actually, this material nature is Mother Durga or Parvati. So in that way, in that connection, I was talking about that Lord Vishnu glances towards the material nature, and that glance is Lord Shiva. So through that glance, he touches the material nature. So the combination of Lord Shiva and Parvati. So that is, they are actually called as the actual father and mother for this material nature. I'm saying about this material world is coming out of Lord Shiva and Parvati. That's why when we worship Lord Shiva, so we worship in that form. It's a kind of it's a symbol that all the living entity or everything in this material world is coming out because of this Lord Shiva and Parvati. So they are actually the father and mother for this material world. I'm saying material world again and again, not for actual creation or actual our
Living
existence.
entities came from Brahma, but the material existence through the glands came through Shiva and Parvati. Is that how we understand?
Yeah, living entity is actually the part and parcel of Lord Krishna or Paramatma. So that we have to understand in that way. And these living entities are supplied from Mahavishnu. From Mahavishnu, these all living entities are there. So they are supplied from Mahavishnu to the material nature. And from material nature, now they get different bodies. So different these bodies or elements or whatever elements we just now discussed. So these elements are not the living entity, like five senses, five working senses, pancha tattva, then five this tanmatra or mind, intelligence, false ego. These are not living entities. These are part of the material nature, and these are all created because of the interaction of Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati, and then there are different interactions, three modes, false egos, these all.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Does it mean the material nature is different from material world?
When we say material world, so we just talk about this universe of Brahman. So if we talk about material world means whole this creation. So there is no difference between material nature and material world. Material nature, it is a potency, this like Mother Durga. This is the potency of Lord Krishna only. That is Bahiranga Shakti, and from there this material world gets created. And if the material world was not there, would not have been there, still Mother Parvati, Mother Durga is still there, she is still present. But material world gets created because living entity desires to have separate enjoyment. So then Lord Krishna gives the department to Mother Durga. Okay, now you go and produce for them. So then she creates this material world. So in that way, yeah. You can say same also, material world, because it is from material nature only material world is coming.
Yeah, Prabhu, I have a question. Like sometimes we see that there are 24 elements, and somewhere it is like now today we have discussed 26 elements. So, what is the reason, Prabhu, that the elements differ? Is it
Yeah.
subject to subject? Yeah.
When we talk about 24 elements, so that is given by Kapil, who was not who was false Kapil, or we can say the person who imitated Lord Kapil. So he doesn't believe in the Supreme Personality of God. So he's atheistic Kapil. So atheistic person, he doesn't believe in Lord. So there is no concept of Supreme Personality of God. Neither there is a concept of time in that. So they do not believe about this. They don't talk about the Supreme Personality of Godhead in that. In that way, they have 24 elements. Actually, so there are different places. Somewhere it is mentioned 24, somewhere it is mentioned 25. Sometimes they discuss, like in ours, we have 26 elements to discuss about that, including Paramatma. Because without Paramatma, how the material world will function? First of all, Paramatma enters, then only this material world starts functioning. That is the first thing which we learn. Because Mahavishnu enters as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Without him, there is no way. But the atheistic people, they believe that there is no Paramatma. So then for them, that element is not there. They do not believe in soul. They do not believe in super soul. Sometimes they say 24, sometimes they say 25, 25 including kala, including time, but no Paramatma.
Prabhuji, can I think that the Paramatma's glance is Shiva and material nature is Durga Mata and material world is the creation?
A little bit, one change you can say that the glance is coming from Mahavishnu, not Paramatma.
Okay, Mahavishnu.
From Paramatma.
Okay,
See,
Mahavishnu Prabhuji. Yes.
Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Shirodaksha Vishnu. There are three Vishnus. So Paramatma is Shirodaksha Vishnu. Okay, Mahavishnu, from Mahavishnu, the whole entire material nature, material world, these all things, all the universes, they are coming from his body. And he's glancing towards material nature. And then these all universe that get created, whatever this happens, with the help of Lord Vishnu. Then Mahavishnu enters inside each and every universe as Garbhodaksha Vishnu and creates the Brahma, and he first creates the Lord Brahma. And then the Garbhodaksha Vishnu expands as Shirodaksha Vishnu, which is Paramatma, and sends inside with every living entity. So that Paramatma lives with all the living entities, including Brahma. Even Brahma cannot sustain alone. So Shirodaksha Vishnu goes with all the living entities, and that he is called Paramatma.
The difference between Pradhan and Mahatattva main, Prabhuji?
Mahatattva is unagitated form of, is not yet agitated. When it gets agitated, so then you can say it as Pradhan. Or, yeah. So when it is unagitated, that is, it is called Mahatattva, sum total of all the elements. When it is, when Lord glances towards it, agitation starts. And now you can call it as Pradhan. Somewhere it is given Pradhan, sometimes it is called Prakriti also. But Mahatattva is just the element, sum total. It is not acting. Mahatattva, when it comes in contact with the glance of the Lord, then false ego generates, then other things starts developing. So in 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, one of the verses, purport Prabhupada says, Mahatattva means sum total of all the elements, all the material elements. That is called Mahatattva. In unagitated form. Just it is there.
So Prabhu, can we say?
I'll give an example. Like in our body, there is kapha, pitta, and vata. These all three things are there. So a healthy person is also having kapha, but that is in balanced state. That is why that kapha is not coming out of the body. So the example may not be that much clear. Like, but kapha is there. Similarly, these material elements are there, and when it is required, so then Lord instructs that now, okay, now you can come in agitation form. So he glances towards that and instructs Mother Parvati, Durga, okay, now begin creation.
So Prabhu, when we say Sarga, is it the Mahatattva that everything, all the elements are there, but it's not coming in the working form? Is it the right understanding, Prabhu?
Yeah, so Sarga means all the creation which is happening by Vishnu, which is done by Vishnu. So it begins from Mahavishnu. It also includes the creation of Brahma also. Creation of Brahma from Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Till that point, it is called Sarga. When from Brahma now the secondary creation starts, that is called Visarga.
Yes, Prabhu. Any other questions? Okay.
Wonderful, Prabhuji. Very, very clear understand. Thank you very much.
Actually, Prabhuji, this is very complicated topic, and I was not thinking to go in detail. I just took some from upper portion only, but still that's why so much question, so much confusion will come, and then in 26th chapter it will be so much thing like when you will be reading how things are happening. So many questions can come at that time also, and that's why Prabhupada says that just read Sankhya. Sankhya is just for this understanding that we are not from this material world. We are outsiders. We have come inside this material world. We have to go back to Krishna. Just to realize that fact that I am not the body. This body, not the mind, intelligence, false ego. I am nothing. I have nothing to do with this tanmatra or the five elements or the five senses, working senses. Nothing to do with that. I am the soul. That soul has everything to do with Lord Krishna. So that is what this concept about this Sankhya. Other thing, technicalities, we are not that much. We don't have to go in much detail in that. Just that.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Prashanti Mataji, yes.
Yeah, Prabhuji. So, for each and every universe, there is Brahma. For all the universes, we have only one Shambhu and Parvati Mataji. Is it, Prabhu?
No, they have also expansions. Like in this current universe also, we say there are 11 Rudra. So there are 11 Rudra. They have different function. There is a Lord Vishnu as there are three Vishnus. They have different function. So then initially Lord Shiva, like the glance is Shambhu. And then after that, there in each universe there are different like Lord Shiva is present. Then Lord Shiva has different his amshas are also there. So there are many amshas are there. It's not like just one Shambhu and one Parvati. Every universe now there is the Mother Parvati is there, Lord Shiva is there. So these all are very inconceivable things. But yeah, there are many amshas are there. In fact, when we fast, so during the fasting, suppose you do Nirjala fasting. So you might have observed this thing that those days you do Nirjala fasting, so that day we become more angry or we become more agitated for small things. So because when we do fasting, so the Rudra Ansh that get activated inside us. So that is Rudra means it is which creates uh, anger and all destruction potency. So fasting, mm, there are 11 Rudras as I said. So one of the Rudra is that has the function in this way also. So I'm just saying that how there are so many Rudras which are functioning. So I heard in one of the lectures that when you fast, so Rudrans get activated. That's why those who are very austere, they are very angry also. Like Durvasana, he's very angry. So he's very austere. So in Krishna consciousness, anyway, we control our anger. But those who are not Krishna conscious, just they are doing austerity, so they become they're very angry because they have this lot of Rudrans. I'm just saying that there are many Amshas of Lord Shiva and not just one and Shambhu and Parvati. There are many.
So, Prabhu, Shambhu, he is above the universes, right, Prabhuji?
Universe is also is above the material. That is like Sadashiv is Sadashiv as we know. So Sadashiv is above the material nature. And then as like Vishnu, Brahma and Shiva, they are present in the universe also. Gunavataras. So similarly, Lord Shiva is present in the material world also, in different universes as Gunavatar. And
Thank
he
you,
has his
Prabhuji.
functions.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, Prabhu, this is not at all confusing. I would say that it was very clear. And I think these technical issues or technical things which are coming in Shrimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, it can be better understood by the question and answers. So, very clear after this question answer session about some of the technical points, Prabhu. So, thank you so much. Actually, you have not taken us like deep into it, but tried to make it very clear by giving us, the important points. So thank you so much, Prabhu. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. And thank you to all the devotees to attending this session. This session is happening every Monday to Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and Saturdays, 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Spiritual frequencies classes are also going on. So, Haribol Prabhu, shall I end the session, Prabhu, now?
Yeah. Thank you very much, all of you, for
Mataji, when is it starting that yatra sessions?
Subbarao Prabhu, just a minute. I'll be here. I'll just first we will do Vaishnav Pranam mantra. And
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Mataji.
yeah.
And also about the
Kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam
Pitanam
pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo
Devyo
Namo
Namo
Namaha.
Namaha.
Ananta Koti
Vaishnavavrinda
Vaishnavavrinda ki jai. Srila
Srila
Prabhupada
Prabhupada
ki
ki
jai.
Thank you
Once
so
again,
much.
thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you so much,
Haribol.
Prabhu.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna
Thank you.
Prabhu.
Pranams.
Okay, yeah, I'm here only. Subbarao Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
yes, Mataji.
Prabhu is here.
Yes, Mataji. Hare
Just a
Krishna,
minute, just a minute. Okay, fine. Now we can, yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
That was it decided, Mataji? Is it on a Saturday or some other day at 8 o'clock at night? That spiritual journey or something was being talked about.
Yeah. That is the Braj Yatra, right, Prabhu. Ashish Prabhu, Haribol.
No, not decided yet. We are seeing how many of you are coming. So take a call. But definitely at 8 o'clock we can have, if we are more than 25 to 30. If 6 or 7 are there, then surely we are cancelling the class. We'll have it on Saturdays only. Sometimes we'll start on Saturdays. Okay.
10:30 to 11:30, Prabhuji.
Yeah, we'll see, Prabhuji. We'll see.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Is it in the morning or in the 8 o'clock in the evening, Prabhuji?
We were proposing for 8 o'clock at night. Yeah, but then many of you are not coming. You're not agreeing to come, so probably we might have it in Saturdays only in future, not now. In future. But definitely we'll have it. It's a wonderful topic. It's a serial topic. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna to everyone. Yeah, Prabhu.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to say, which regional speakers have said many times, whenever someone is reading, someone is asked to read translation or purpose, so don't get into doing Dandavat Pranam to everyone, because speakers are more concerned about covering the topics.
Yes.
So when they are pointing out, then we should oblige to that. It's not that we are pointing out as an organizer, they are pointing out. So try to, you need not say us like the hosts to Dandavat Pranam and all that. Speakers, you can say Hare Krishna, just move ahead. Okay? Just because of the paucity of the time, otherwise we understand your emotions. And thank you.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Ji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So we'll end the session here.